2 seconds. Hello? Can you hear me now? I was realizing about right at the end, I was like, well, I don't hear myself. And so how could you possibly hear me? Now I believe we are live with sound and everything as if I know what I'm doing, like a broadcast professional. All right. Let's do this right. All right, guys. Can you hear me now? Oh, I can hear myself. There's audio. My goodness gracious. So let's take it from the top because you didn't hear any of that. So that could have been really, really great content that is lost in time forever. Or maybe it was terrible and the take two will be a lot better. We're about to find out together. Welcome to Moltov in the Morning, the most regularly scheduled programming in all of pro wrestling. This is take two this morning, so pardon my tardiness. I had a few things to get done before I got a chance to do this, and then I did basically an entire show with my microphone muted because, again, radio professional, and I'm very, very bad at this. Welcome again, like I said. The reason that we're coming live 2 days in a row is because it's a big enough show with SmackDown being day 2 of the Superstar Shakeup. I thought that day 1 was handled really, really well. I thought Raw was not just a good Raw, but I was really optimistic about the direction of this entire shakeup now because I saw exactly what I needed to see, which was SmackDown's going to win this thing, and it feels like they're going to crush this thing, and SmackDown's going to be the show that you walk away going, they got more better than Raw did with the moves that were made. Right off the bat, I can't tell you how happy I am that The Miz is going over to SmackDown. I think that's outstanding, the right decision. The fact that he's now going to be, we talked about it on yesterday's Moltov in the Morning, that I want Finn Balor to make its way over to SmackDown because I think he'll be a lot closer to SmackDown's world title than he will be to Raw's world title. And so The Miz has got to feel, if you're a fan of The Miz or just a respecter of his work or want to see what happens, you got to believe that he's now closer to being the WWE champion than he was to being the Universal champion. And on top of that, obviously, he's going to fight Daniel Bryan. We talked about it on screen already. It's literally the kayfabe reason that they brought him over to that show. Awesome. Terrific. It was a match that, like, this time last year we all wanted, but, quote, knew we could never get. Now we know that we can, and it's going to be terrific. I'm really optimistic about Miz being over on SmackDown, and I also think that they're going to get some pretty heavy hitters. Let's start, though, with the champions, because I don't think we're going to swap mid-card titles. I don't think that Jeff Hardy is going to stay on Raw while Seth Rollins finds his way over to SmackDown with the Intercontinental title. If you see, really, Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy are hanging out right now, and Jeff Hardy, I know he did that backstage segment last week, and it was really fun and really funny, but it didn't lead to anything. He's not becoming Brother Nero. He's not doing Willow. It looks like Jeff Hardy's not hanging out right now with these dudes, which is fine. They don't always have to, we have time, everybody. And so I think Jeff Hardy winning the U.S. title was much, much more about sending a guy back to SmackDown with it than it was about, oh, man, Seth Rollins is now going to SmackDown. I thought Seth Rollins was headed to SmackDown as soon as I saw Jinder Mahal open the show. But then when they're like, we're booking a title match, big guy, it's like, all right, he's going to lose. And whoever it is going to take it back with him. Jeff Hardy is awesome. I've been a Jeff Hardy fan for a long time. He jumps off stuff. What's not to like? But I just want to make that point thrown out there that I don't think we're swapping mid-card titles for shows. I just think that Seth Rollins Jeff Hardy's going back to SmackDown and Seth Rollins will wind up sticking around. But you never know, and that's the fun part about these shakeups and stuff, and the fact that SmackDown is live, is that we don't know, and we got to watch to find out together, and that really is the best part with this whole thing. And WWE is doing great stuff right now, and it's a good time to be a fan. Keep that in mind. Always remember, it's a good time to be a fan. I think Braun Strowman's heading to SmackDown. I think that's why he looked so good last night to end the show. And we got to start swapping out some names, right? So if I'm not mistaken, Raw is getting Baron Corbin, right? Bobby Roode is here. Chad Gable as a singles star, which was announced through the intranet. They're even getting guys like Zack Ryder and Mojo Rawley. And I know that it's just like, yeah, some of these guys are yawn names. But they also got Jinder Mahal, who's a former WWE champion. They also got Dolph Ziggler, who we can keep reminding you that technically is a former world champion. And so it's time to even these scales, and that's got to come with some oomph because what we know about these drafts and these shakeups is Raw is always going to get more numbers, but sometimes SmackDown's going to get the more like, whoa, name to balance that out. Raw's got the third hour. I need more bodies on Raw, but SmackDown can get the punch guys, so you have an actual reason to watch. AJ Styles has been on SmackDown this whole time. You know what I mean? And he should be. Or he's at least been there since the last shakeup. I don't know. He feels like he's always been there. I think they're going to get Braun Strowman. I think they're going to get Finn Balor, and I think they're going to get Gallows and Anderson. I sincerely do. I really think they're going to get Braun Strowman. Again, looking strong to end the show is like, this guy's a huge deal, remember? Not that we ever forgot. And then tonight on the show, that's going to be Paige and Shane McMahon's big coup is getting this guy. And I think it's great. If you're a Braun Strowman fan, I can see why you might be 50-50 on this, but let's work out both sides of potentially, because we don't know. This is a hypothetical game that now that I'll do a segment on, it won't happen. What if Braun Strowman goes to SmackDown? Pros and cons. We can start with the cons, because I understand that there's fear of, well, SmackDown's the B show. Is he going to feel like a B guy? I thought he was going to be the guy to beat Brock, the guy to beat Roman. Well, first of all, SmackDown didn't feel like the B show like a year ago when everybody was telling me on these polls that SmackDown was better week after week after week after week. We need a better creative direction. Yeah. We need star power. Sure. But SmackDown's been fine lately. They just need the bodies. And Braun Strowman's one of those guys that immediately makes you go, oh, yeah, I'll watch that. And if you're a Braun Strowman fan, let's weigh the pros. This guy, again, I'll bring this point up because we got this weird situation with the Universal title. I'm a Brock Lesnar fan, but even I'm clueless as to what we're doing. He probably loses in Saudi Arabia, right? Probably, but then what if he doesn't? And then he definitely holds the belt for 435 days. I don't know. We'll get to that. But if you're a Braun Strowman fan, there's a lot of reason to be optimistic because the chances of Braun Strowman beating Brock Lesnar were really slim. Going from one huge, oh my God, nobody can beat this guy because he's so big and powerful guy to another. Rarely in this company's history do we give the belt from one gorilla to another. You know what I mean? It was like Lesnar to an Angle kind of guy. You know what I mean? Not Lesnar to even The Undertaker was never a transfer of championships. You know what I mean? And so if you're a Strowman fan, you got to understand that the next Universal Champion is almost certainly Roman Reigns and definitely almost certainly not Braun Strowman. And then he's got to get into a program with a guy. If it looks like we're doing Roman Reigns as the Universal Champion versus Samoa Joe. So that's going to take at least a month, maybe two. And then you got to hope that Braun Strowman is picked to be the guy to beat Roman Reigns, even though they're both working babyface right now, technically, if either of them actually are. And then you got to hope that he wins, and that's no guarantee, and Meanwhile, he can just show up tonight, and if he wants to, be like, AJ Styles is going to smash you into the ground. And as much as we all love AJ Styles, he could win the title tonight, and we'd all be happy with it, right? Wouldn't everybody be psyched if Braun Strowman became the WWE champion? Wouldn't more people then not at least accept the decision? So, yeah, is Raw the A show? Yeah, and we can kid ourselves into saying it's not, but it is. But there's a lot of good things that can come from Braun Strowman going over to SmackDown Live. I really do believe that. Finn Balor, is he going over to SmackDown Live? I hope so. And again, guys, I'm going to try to make this much more interactive. I tried to have the thing up for the comments, and it's weird, and I didn't do it right. And I will next time. I'm going to be live tomorrow. I'll do it again, and I'll do it right, and we'll make it a very interactive show. I'm sure your comments are outstanding and not being ignored. And to anybody that said hi and I love you, hi and I love you. Finn Balor, I think, is going over to SmackDown Live because if Finn Balor, Gallows, and Anderson all wind up over there, we already said Bullet Club on TV last night, so why the hell not? Again, it's just a star power thing. Raw would still have Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, Bray Wyatt, eventually returning Dean Ambrose. Don't forget that guy exists. Bobby Lashley, I think, is going to become a thing. Samoa Joe is still on this show. There's still a lot of guys that can keep in Prop Raw up. And Finn Balor's doesn't even feel, to be honest with you, and I love him, Finn Balor doesn't really even feel like one of the guys propping Raw up. He's there, and it's great, and anything he does is great, but he just sort of feels like he's there. And he's a guy, and he has these matches, and then he goes away, and there's no continuation of anything. He's still owed a Universal title match. Ba-ba-ba. And so it's like, yeah, maybe he can go over to SmackDown and feel like a reason to watch, which on Raw, although he is a reason to watch, I don't feel like WWE programming does that for you. Got to want to watch Finn Balor because you love him, because you love Fergal Devitt, because you loved NXT, because you love the guy. WWE to me doesn't make him feel like a focal point guy that it's like, you know, and again, I know he's on the posters as the Demon. When was the last time we saw that thing? It's just a gimmick. So all in all, I think that the Superstar shakeup was great. My big disappointment so far, right? And what I've learned is give it time, because it could happen tonight. We get another 2 hours of this shaken up to do, right? Gotcha. I really thought Charlotte was going to be on Raw, because I really think we need to swap Charlotte for Asuka. I think that Asuka's got to find her way over to SmackDown. She can drive Carmella into the ground and win that title, get all her momentum back. Not that she lost it. She lost to the greatest women's wrestler ever. Fans who are historians of pro wrestling, like I try to be, there was no shame in losing to Ric Flair. You know what I mean? Like, people that think John Cena got buried by having the honor of being tombstoned at WrestleMania by The Undertaker, I love you, but you don't know what you're looking at. Like, being in a program at WrestleMania with The Undertaker is like the Lifetime Achievement Award. Like, it's like the Rolex you get at the company when you retire. Like, it's such a huge honor and big deal. And the guy had 2 minutes and 40 seconds in the tank, and he gave it to you. And John Cena probably smiled all the way home. Don't feel bad for guys that don't feel bad for themselves. And I don't even remember what I was talking about that made me think about that. But Charlotte, yeah, momentum. Asuka didn't lose any momentum. Are you serious? Yeah, she's not undefeated anymore. Now she's a measly 250,001. Wow, her career's over. You know what I mean? Like, get out of here. So she's going to be fine. But yeah, if we want to like show that she's not taking any more bumps down the road until maybe Ronda Rousey, yeah, have her beat Carmella in a minute and a half and then win the title and be SmackDown's champion and terrify everybody and scream in Japanese, which is all she should be doing, is wearing that mask and screaming in Japanese and making people not want to get in the ring with her, like Meng. Or, remember Meng? Oh, that guy was awesome. He didn't yell in Japanese, but he would grab you by the throat. Tongan death grip. Hashtag Tongan death grip. And it still can happen. Tonight they can announce that Charlotte's moving over there. I don't know why we wouldn't have done it last night and given her as big an entrance as flipping Bobby Roode. But if they don't move her, I think that's a mistake. Because now what do we do with her? She's not on the same show with Ronda Rousey, right? She's going to go back after the women's title. Shouldn't she smash Carmella? Like, don't we not do that match because of the fact that Charlotte Flair should absolutely win? You know what I mean? So that one's a weird one to me, but we'll see what happens. The best part about WWE right now is that I don't know what's going on. I don't read spoilers. I don't read dirt sheets. When I ask guys that work there in the back what's going on, it's like technical stuff or like, you know, contract stuff or like, you know, story stuff. It's never like matchup spoiler stuff because it's more fun this way. And I hope you guys enjoy SmackDown and the shakeup. If you're enjoying this conversation, want our full thoughts and hopes on the shakeup page as the GM, a complete rundown of that, you can definitely become a Patreon, patreon.com/New Age Insiders. That's the easiest way for more access. We got 5 shows a month and a whole bunch of other stuff. We're doing a neighborhood watch this weekend. It's going to be great. I'll be back tomorrow for another Moltov in the morning. It's NAI Pod Day, so we'll preview that and talk about what we got coming up for you guys. Hype up the One NAI project, which is dropping probably, you know, sometime this week. We'll talk all about the One NAI project and really the new direction that the entire New Age Insiders brand will take. Product, whatever we are, cavalcade of monkeys in a barrel. we'll take with the one NAI project, and we think you guys are going to love it, and we need you to, because it's going to be all about you. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, we're live Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock on newageinsiders.com. Check out everything we got going on iTunes, the website, the network. Shout out to DC and Doc, to Chip and Damien. Matt McCool's 3 Count is coming back. We're working out the logistics this week, so stay tuned. We got somebody new on deck who's going to be joining the team. We're very, very excited for the future of the New Age Insiders. And remember that we are one NAI, and it's because of you that we are the premier place for wrestling fans to connect, discuss, and to be heard. Thank you so much for joining me.